Tracking Sally.
We are going to Kelly Richardson, meteorologist and public information officer for MEMA, and Kelly is on supertalk.fm/watch. Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm doing great this morning. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Let's get into this thing and your review of it. And I know you've got all the latest information. Tell me where we are and what's going to happen.
So the latest update this morning from the National Hurricane Center, it has weakened some. I mean, yesterday we saw that rapid intensification, but as of this morning, it's a Category 1, max sustained winds around 85 miles per hour, and we're still seeing that slightly more eastward track with a landfall projected a little later than originally thinking. It could make landfall closer to the Mississippi-Alabama state line around midday tomorrow. So this storm is moving extremely slowly, 2 miles per hour. Most of us can walk faster than that, which is setting up for a major rain event. So does that mean that it may continue that? Does it show a northeast more so than an east? You're saying it's going more eastward. Yes, it has been shifting a little bit more that way, but we still do not want people to let their guard down along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. This is still going to be a major event for them, and it's going to be a pretty prolonged event based on the progression of this storm, which is, again, only 2 miles per hour. Kelly, us novices, Will and I were talking about how the analogy is kind of like a sailboat and there are no steering winds. So when they ask people like you to say, which way is this boat going to go, you don't know because you don't know which way the winds are going to be blowing. So is that kind of a simple analogy of that? Yeah, definitely, because, I mean, this storm essentially stationary, and it's not going anywhere. It's dropping already a whole lot of rain, and that's just going to continue throughout today and into tomorrow, and it makes it difficult to forecast because I do want to put in perspective that a matter of 50 miles can make a huge impact of where a system, the center of it, makes landfall, who sees the most substantial impact. So that makes this tropical forecasting, especially in this scenario, so tricky. Do you see anything inland or out in the Gulf as far as those steering winds that would cause those winds to change? And there's a possibility of when that would happen? In regards to this system? In regards to this system, yes. Anything coming in like a front from the north? No, really, until it gets that northeastern push, thanks to the upper steering patterns, by the time we head into later tomorrow and Thursday especially, it's going to take that very sharp northeasterly turn. But really, kind of our thinking has been on track with this and no major changes. Do want to ask you this. If it happens to exit the East Coast, Georgia, Carolina, wherever it does, it could reformulate, could it not? Yeah, I mean, that has been known to happen, most definitely, and not out of the question by any means. We retain the same name. It still will be Sally. Yes, absolutely. To which Will and I wanted to ask you, because we understand in 2005, we did use up the last name and we went to, I think it was Alpha. I'm not sure, but that's what they do. That's what happens. Yep, we moved to the Greek alphabet. I mean, out in the Eastern Atlantic, we already have Vicky. So we are getting very, very close. And the only time in history that I know of us moving to the Greek alphabet is 2005. Have the forecast calls changed as far as the surge predictions? It has lowered a little bit along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. We're thinking right now 3 to 9 feet, which is still pretty substantial. Already I'm hearing reports this morning along the Gulf Coast that it's up to about 3 feet. So that will just continue to rise throughout today and into tomorrow. And we're in high tide. I'm not sure what the timetable looks like for tomorrow as far as the tide levels, when it's supposed to come through. But if it happens, let's say tomorrow afternoon, somewhere near Pascagoula, between Pascagoula and, let's say, Dauphin Island, do we know what the tide situation will be then? I do not know. I know this morning we are in high tide. I have not looked at that data, but we know it. If it is in high tide, that is extremely problematic. So something else for them to be aware of. Anything else you want to impart upon us while we have you on? No, just want to continue to emphasize for our friends along the Gulf Coast, do not let your guard down. Stay safe, hunker down, and Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, we're here for everyone, and we'll get through this together.
One final question here, because I asked Ricky this one, he didn't know yet. Do we know the highest amount of rain so far on the coast?
I don't know current totals as of now. Really, the heaviest bands have been positioning themselves Florida Panhandle, South Alabama, but we'll get some of that rain activity moving along the Mississippi Gulf Coast later today. So I don't have current totals, but we're still looking at upwards of 15 plus inches.
I saw one forecast that said 30 inches, and God forbid, hopefully it won't be anywhere near that.
Fingers crossed, no. I haven't seen that. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I think easily isolated spots, 20 inches, not out of the question, especially in areas like Jackson County.
That is amazing. Yep. As always, Kelly, thank you. I appreciate it, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Of course. Have a great day. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.